Hi Pisces, it's Jen here from Tarot Spirit, here for your March 2016 tarot reading. I was shuffling and a card came out, so I just thought I'd I'd start the video. So I'm going to do 3 cards for work from the Shadowscapes Tarot, 3 for relationships from the Silver Witchcraft Tarot, and a final sort of overall spiritual card from the Earth Magic Oracle cards. Okay, in the work position, let's get going. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Moon card. So the Moon card points to times when things feel a little bit surreal, or we're a little bit emotionally not quite sure what's exactly going on. So your intuition may be sort of ignited, sparked, heightened this month in the place at your place of work, excuse me. Because there may be some rumblings going on under the surface that you're sort of getting ripples of, but you don't know what was causing that exactly. So it could be potentially a little unsettling. I don't think it's personal. And so, it's working on ways just to try to stay centered and calm when maybe there's a little bit of upheaval going on that you're not privy to just yet. Also, always, when the Moon card comes up, always pay attention to your dreams. So here's the King of Wands. I love the King of Wands. I have a crush on him. I always say that. He's a very dynamic, exciting, passionate, enthusiastic leader. He's a man that really encourages passion and creativity in other people and wants to excite people and elevate everyone around him to work hard and to be motivated. He leads by by energy. Think of Wands are a very energetic sign. He leads by energy and example, and he keeps people excited and motivated long after the original excitement of something has worn off. So this is a beautiful energy to have in the work area, and it may be that someone's stirring something up. Something's being stirred up. People are being taken to task. Someone with this energy, they don't have tons of patience, but he's mature, so he can keep it together. But perhaps someone with this type of personality has gotten to the end of his rope and is stirring the pot, is saying, all right, come on, things have got to change. There's stagnation here. Things are not flowing and happening, and people are not as motivated as I want. And so there may be someone in a leadership position stirring things up in the workplace. Or maybe you're feeling a bit restless and need some motivation or some infusion of energy, and like, why am I doing this? Like, where's my motivation? Why I can't keep doing this job without some sort of reason behind it. So then we have the Ten of Wands. This card is a card all about having way too much on our plate. If you can see, this lady's holding up this whole village or this whole, she's carrying the burden of this whole place. So you may feel that you're sort of carrying a lot of the burden at work, and that's really difficult because that will erode your soul and your enthusiasm and your excitement at work. It's always tricky to go to your boss and say, you know what, I have just way too much on my plate. But sometimes, even if it seems super obvious to you, it's worth having that conversation. And at least then you've had it, and then all of a sudden you don't get caught. And she's like, why are you so far behind? Well, why didn't you say something to me? Or he. So good communication, not whining, but I'm concerned with my workload. I'm not going to be successful. Is there a you know priority to these? Make a list of things that you have going on. They can help you prioritize. And then you've had the conversation, so they know. Um, so it's harder for them to act surprised or come back and say, well, why didn't this get done? You can be like, well, you know, they were in the know. But then we have the Nine of Pentacles. So this is interesting. I can see this in a few different ways, because the Nine of Pentacles is success and confidence, but it usually depicts a single woman, but a single person. So I don't know if maybe you're going to strike out on your own somehow. Maybe this King of Wands has inspired you to put down this heavy burden you've been carrying and sort of go out on your own, or go out in a different way. Or you realize, you've been bearing the burden of that Ten of Wands, and when you do finally put it down, you just have an enormous amount of confidence, because you're like, I can work circles around people, and I've carried that organization for years, and I have the confidence to know that whether I get the acknowledgement for it or not, that I rock and I kick ass and I worked my butt off. But I do see you reaping some rewards for that at this point. It wasn't all for naught. And I do think this King of Wands energy is going to inspire you to make changes. So you go from this overburdened Ten of Wands to this very fortuitous position of the Nine of Pentacles. It could just be an inner shift. It could be striking out of your own, or it could be someone who sees the work you're doing and elevates your position. Think about what feeds your soul. And, if you're in a situation like this, how do you get to a situation like this? Is there someone, maybe you need to call upon your own inner King of Wands. Or maybe there's someone around you that can help elevate you and get you out from under that Ten of Wands and get you up on solid ground. So let's look at relationships. So at the bottom of the deck, we have the Five of Pentacles. Now, the Five of Pentacles, I sort of call it sorry, I have a glare. It's sort of like having a victim mentality. It's when you're just feeling shut out or alone, or you don't have anyone there to sort of help you out. Often the sort of lesson behind the card is usually that's not the case. There is usually help available, but you just sort of so socked into that victim mentality that you can't see that there is help available to you. I sort of see, like, in this interpretation, that there is wisdom available to you from a mother figure, your spirits, guides, in the sense that, if you sort of open up and try to gain a different perspective, that you may see things in a different light. And you may see that you do have this new opportunity available to you, and this wisdom available to you if you just ask for help. So let's see. And then you have the Sun, super nice card. So feeling warm, enlightened, seeing things very clearly, um, just energy, support, warmth, feeling very cared for. The Sun card can point to children, um, and just a very, you're in a place where you just feel like, okay, everything's going okay. Like, okay, yeah, there isn't a crisis going on in my relationship world at this point. If you're single, you're happy single. If you're in a relationship, things are going pretty well. Um, and you're happy, things are good, very good right now. It's a positive omen. So let's see at the other cards, because I want to see why at the root of the problem is this sort of victim mentality where you feel like you're not being supportive. Because wow, holy smokes, 10 of Cups, the happy family card. Another incredibly positive card to have come out in your relationships. The one caution I like to bring up when this card comes up is the traditional card has like a family dancing or something, and a castle in the background and rainbows in the sky, and like it's a little fairy tale happily ever after, and that's just not real. No one's going to live in a castle. Maybe you will, but most people won't live in a castle. And happily ever after does not mean no arguments, no friction, no sad things. It doesn't mean real life has many different aspects, but it's being able to stay connected and having someone to weather the storm with you that is kind of at the basis of this. And it also challenges you to think about what is your ideal happy family. It may not involve a family at all. It may not involve children. It may not involve a fancy house. It's whatever. It may be you and your dog. It may be in a yurt. I don't know, but it's make sure you don't define your happily ever after by what society deems is supposed to be the perfect life. Make sure it's what feeds your own soul, and don't get caught up in what society thinks your happily ever after should be. And the Knight of Swords. So this is a change in thinking, a change in perspective. There's a lot of energy. This knight is taking off. He's taking off into the sky. So I see sort of a big shift here. If February was sort of, you were really feeling sort of, I kind of see a feeling sorry for yourself. I always see this Five of Pentacles cards coming after the Four of Pentacles, which is one of my least favorite cards, because I feel like it's someone who's so selfish and so materialistic and so protective that they've shut out everyone else. Their boundaries are like so strong, and they're so focused on material things that it's just they're lonely. But then they created that themselves, and then they walk into the Five of Pentacles. No one cares about me. No one. It's like, but you shut everyone out because you were so busy protecting your things and yourself that you shut everyone out. So it's like I see that perhaps on some level you had this sort of victim mentality going on, but I see that in March you really are soaring. You're really taking off from that. I see this, this is the ultimate aha moment of, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I've been creating that situation. And if I want to truly have a happy family, I need to release some of this self-protection, which moved from, self-protection to really being selfish and shutting people out. And maybe that I was feeling shut out because it was actually something that I created myself. So I really feel an aha moment. And then once you've kind of had that enlightenment and stop being so selfish and put your family first, your thoughts, you're really going to take off. And you're really going to be seeing things in a new way and get this really high, wise perspective of this night and really change your thinking in all areas of your life. And I just see it being extremely positive. Like you're going to feel freedom. It's like things are just, yeah, really going to take off for you. That's pretty exciting and cool. Okay, I want to do one last card from the, ooh, whoops. Okay, they're falling out. We might have more than one. I don't know. Let's see. And we got whale, breach. So I kind of feel like this is the same energy as this card. You know, we're water's emotions and we're breaching. We're getting out of this state of maybe maybe we are wallowing in some self-pity or some just finding hard to figure out why we were feeling that way. I mean, it doesn't have to be that, of course, not everyone's, super selfish, but when we're worried about things, we can kind of cross the line to being selfish without realizing it when we're really like feeling horrible about ourselves. Like, how, if we feel so bad about ourselves, can we be being selfish? But then when we really look at it, we're like, well, gosh, I was feeling so worried and hating myself so much, I became selfish because I was so focused on myself. So finding a way to get out of those emotions and break through out of and get out of our own head, our own emotions, and look at things from a new perspective is really going to give us an enormous amount of freedom from that Five of Pentacles energy, probably in all areas of our lives. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a lovely month, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.